everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Goodman podcast because today is Raj's birthday. And to celebrate, we are going to be chatting about the intricate dance between AI and supply chain optimization. Yes, Raj is very excited, obviously, to speak about this on his special day to uncover why AI is not just a tool but a game changer in the supply chain. Welcome, Raj, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Megan. And yeah, it's always lovely to talk about AI with birthday or not, so no problem at all. But yeah, supply chain AI. Awesome. Let's go for it.
It's going to be a wild birthday for you.
Indeed.
So let's look at demand forecasting accuracy to kick the conversation off, and maybe you can explain how AI looks at past sales and market trends to predict what products will be in high demand. And we've covered this particular topic in several ways over the last over a couple of episodes. But yeah, specifically, obviously, to supply chain. How does it all work?
Yeah, it's actually really interesting, and I wish AI became mainstream a few years back during COVID, because that's when we saw this supply chain drama unfolding with the Suez Canal being blocked for a few days and the prices going to the roof. I remember me trying to move my stuff from London to Bangkok. It cost us 5x more than what it should have costed, for example, because there was no ships going around. It was mainly just planes. So it's really interesting. But I think what's really it comes down to is the ability of AI to understand trends and being able to find a pattern. What's happening is, and this is all comes down to the data we have. The more data we have on the previous trends which have happened, the more we can learn about what might happen in the future. So if, for example, a certain location got flooded, or there was a massive traffic jam, for example, in a particular city, or there was, the plane routes were down for a few hours, all these impact are the costs, the pricing. For example, the longer it takes for a plane to go around a particular city or a country because of war, for example, that means the fuel prices go up for that plane. That will impact the bottom line for the company who's transporting the actual goods, and they will obviously bill that to the customer eventually. So all those small micro trends or current numbers can impact the cost of what we consume. Maybe it's food, maybe it is the goods we buy from the shops, for example. So knowing the supply chain data from the past and then predicting using AI can really be helpful. It can also help us to either reduce the cost or understand what the cost might be in the future.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned, the COVID pandemic, and I mean that was it came out of left field. It was a completely unknown event that kind of impacted global supply chains, and it led to, like you rightly said, an issue with global supply chains. So, how does AI help business decide how much stock to keep on hand to meet demand without overstocking? And in the case of COVID, for example, can you do like scenario planning, for example, to kind of make contingency plans for these unpredictable or unpredicted events?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. I wonder if there were many companies who were predicting that there's gonna be things like COVID, which will come and will destroy the supply chain efficiency across multiple cities, countries. And these kind of things are hard to plan. What AI can do is to look at general trends from the market and then suggest what we should do. Again, as I was talking about in the previous episodes, it all comes down to the company on their risk appetite as well. So yes, we can make the algorithm such that it can tell us what should be our stock levels, for example. And if, for example, let's just look at a simple example. When it's warmer in a city or a country, we consume more ice creams. When it's colder, we probably consume more teas and coffees. So these kind of trends can help us figure out what should be the supply of tea bags or coffee containers or ice cream stock, for example. And when should we get it? And looking at the fact that, well, if it's being shipped from, say, a country in, say, Asia to a country in, say, Europe, how long will that take? So you can like predict based on that when should I place the order, when should it be sent out from there, it comes via ship, how long will it take? You can do that, all the algorithm and mathematics behind it for us, making our lives much easier. Equally, yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say, and it all kind of happens in real time now, doesn't it? It's not like, you get your trend analysis at the end of the month and do your prediction. It's all kind of in real time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of funny because I was just showing the example of real-time trends. When I go to these workshops, what I do is I've been traveling around next 7 weeks. I'm traveling to 6 different cities across the world doing these AI workshops. What I do there is I ask everyone to fill a form up. In the form, they put their names, the AI skill, and they have a paid ChatGPT account. And then I asked them to like sit down. We have 100 people there in the room. I say, okay, now tell me, how would you divide the group into smaller groups so we have an equal level of AI knowledge and ChatGPT paid accounts? And they're all like, okay, yeah, you know what? I have a PhD in mathematics, so I can, well, this is how I'll do it. And I'm just like, dude, you are in an AI first mindset workshop. Use the bloody AI for this, right? So
Yeah.
like literally just put that into ChatGPT as a table, and it'll give the answer for you, and it'll say, okay, divide into a group of like, there will be 20 groups of 5 each, and this should be the people who should be in each group. Easy as. You have to do no mathematics behind it, no algorithms behind it, no algebra or geometry required at all. You just literally copy paste that thing and put a simple prompt that you can write yourself. And that's the beauty of AI, is to make life easy. The AI figures out what it should be doing to get that task done for you, and it can analyze for you. That's I was think the beauty of AI is it's available for everybody. We can all use it. All we need to do is enter simple words in English or our favorite language, and it will make that happen for us.
Yeah. Now, looking at kind of the AI's ability to predict trends and that kind of thing from a slightly different perspective, logistics obviously is all run on vehicles. You need a vehicle to transport it to from and to, and that's essentially your entire supply chain is made up of various different forms of vehicles, and these things need to be repaired and maintained. AI can now also be used from a predictive maintenance perspective for this mechanical stuff. So there's all that kind of crossover between AI and engineering, if you will, to try and kind of maintain the efficiency and the cost of shipping goods, to keep those prices down by ensuring that all the equipment is in working order.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this brings me to a story which is really interesting. So when I used to travel to Mumbai as a kid, in Mumbai in India as a kid, from Kuwait, there used to be this one uncle who knew what time to leave home to reach the destination anywhere in Mumbai, and this person just knew it like the back of his hand. And anybody who's traveling anywhere just go, call this uncle, and he'll tell you exactly. And what he had got down to is the fact that he knew the traffic trend. He knew when to leave home and then you should be able to arrive into the town center or a suburban area. Now, love to have an uncle in every city in the world to be able to predict the traffic, for example, but it's almost impossible. But if we have the data and we have sensors, for example, we can actually figure out when to optimize and how to optimize our traffic routes, for example. If there's congestion in one area, maybe how to bypass that. We have the map of the city. We can then figure out the trends. Now that Google data, Google Maps data, we can actually figure out the traffic trends at different times. For instance, in different traffic trends, you can actually figure out when to leave. home, or when to leave the workshop or the service center and arrive at a particular location.
Yeah.
Also, how many vehicles do we require to ship this particular amount of quantity of goods? Should it be one? Should it be five? Should they all go the same route as a convoy? Should we go different routes, for example? Should we using big trucks? Should it be more by water, maybe through canals, for example, in some cases? So
Mm.
all these different trends are possible because, again, the AI has been fed this different information. And a simple example to try out is I did this recently for one of our friends. They wanted to kind of go around Bangkok, and they asked me to kind of say, "Hey, I want to go to these different spots in Bangkok. Can you tell me how should I go about so I can end up at 9 p.m. at this particular restaurant?" And I went like, "Yeah, easy." And they thought I knew the answer. All I did was I put in ChatGPT. I said like, visit these six spots, and this way we're going to end up at 9 p.m. So just tell me what should be the route for this, for example. And it just made me a great route, for example. And even the time when we arrived there, and apparently the times were pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So without
Now,
even providing information, you can do that to ChatGPT today, for example.
yeah, yeah. Now, let's talk about route planning and that kind of thing, because AI has now, you can do real-time route optimization, and that's one of the pros of AI in supply chain as well. But maybe you could kind of break it down and explain how it's different from your usual kind of Google Maps or Waze, because those are all plugged into satellites and they know. I mean, if I need to get to the other side of Johannesburg, I have a look on Google Maps and it can tell me where the accidents are, so that is already kind of real time route optimization. And on the flip side, I read once that these algorithms actually cause traffic backups in other ways, because now everyone's trying to get off the highway, and it causes more of a more congestion. So, in simple terms, how does AI factor into finding the best shipping routes, and taking weather, traffic, other costs, and all that kind of thing into involved, and kind of producing those real time optimizations?
Yeah, so the fuel for any AI is the data which is put into it. No data means there's no fuel for the AI to really work on. And within Google Maps itself, that in itself is an AI we use within Google Maps to predict the time, the routes, the destination based routes based on trends which happen. So on a Wednesday afternoon, this road is congested, so avoid this road. Now, if everyone avoids this road, then eventually there'll be more traffic somewhere else, right? That's the challenge. But if, for example, if we had the real trends, I mean, most of these trends which we see in Google Maps are historic data. They're not real-time data. There's real-time data as well, but it's not accurate to the second, accurate to a few minutes, for example. But if we had real-time data, which is truly accurate to the second, we will be even better at route prediction than Google Maps, for instance. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to the data we have and how accurate that data is. The more real-time the data, the better we can go to. But saying that, it's also very helpful to have data which is historic and correct. Let me give you an example. In certain cities in the world, certain routes are better in certain months. For instance, it rains a lot in the Philippines, for instance. So certain routes are closed out during the typhoon season. Just knowing that information, having that information to hand, can avoid us entering that zone in a particular month. So that's where we can use the data from historic figures. But then if we have the data which from real time today, we can figure out, well, is this road actually congested or blocked off, or is it actually open? So then we can be a bit better planned as well. Same thing applies to sea routes as well. Sea routes work in a very similar way to the road network as well. It's about knowing uh, what kind of availability and traffic is there at any particular time. overall, all this information can also be used to optimize for petrol. So, for example, a lighter car with less petrol will be faster and more fuel efficient because it's lighter. But maybe you need to fill in the petrol so you can do a longer route. So, knowing what you burn in a tanker for a big ship or in a car can also help you optimize for cash, for the money you spend on transporting goods or people. So overall, it comes down to the data and the trends and the analysis we have in real time and from the past as well. Put together, it's very hard to compute that using human beings or just simple algorithms. AI does a better job at looking at all the trends together.
Cool. And just like that, we've reached the end of today's episode. AI's transformative role in supply chain optimization. Thank you again, Raj, for joining us on your birthday to discuss this with us. And to the audience, I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel or wherever you grab your podcasts from. And until next time, I hope you enjoy the rest of Raj's birthday.
Thank you very much.